Good morning, South Florida. Hello, world. This is Robert Henderson Jr., certified financial planner, certified tax coach, live in the beautiful studios of WZAB 880 The Biz. Yes, today I'm going to be going solo. My business partner, sister-in-law, vice president of the Henderson Financial Group, Linda V. Harris, she's traveling again today. Yes, she's a jet setter. She's all over the world, all over the country, in and out of the country. And she's on assignment right now. Hopefully she'll be back with us next week. For those who listen to me for the first time, I'm Robert Henderson Jr. I'm a certified financial planner, certified tax coach. I'm the president of the Henderson Financial Group. We're located in Miami Lakes, Florida. We also have another office in Fort Lauderdale, Florida. And we also have another office in Buckhead, Atlanta. And we clear, our broker-dealer is IFS Securities, and we do a lot of our platform with Raymond James Investments. We're independent financial advisors. We really like what we do. I've been doing this for over 30 years. I'm a stockbroker. I'm also a real estate broker. In fact, real estate was my first professional license back in 1979. So we incorporate a lot of real estate inside of our plans because we really do believe in diversification. We don't believe in wham, bam, thank you, ma'am, TV cutter, TV dinner type, just put everybody in funds and everybody's in the market. No, we like true diversification. And each and one of our clients are not just numbers, just a number. We individually set up personalized plans for each of our clients. And our clientele, they come in all walks of life, all shades, all in investment levels. Some people, will come in and they may have, $20,000 to invest, or they may come in, they just need to know how to budget. So we do total financial planning, not just investment planning. We do a lot of retirement planning also. We deal a lot of what we call sudden wealth accumulation, when you've just won the lotto, or you have a lawsuit and it's first time generation money, or you just became you're a professional athlete and you just got a wad of money, you don't really know what to do. We do a lot of that counseling also, and we also deal with estate planning, helping people to actually plan for their the distribution of their estate, because hopefully if you've done a good job, what has happened is you've amassed, you've created, you've accumulated, and you go from the accumulation stage to the distribution stage, and that's where we want to be. We're like squirrels that gathering nuts as we're working. Hopefully we eat all our nuts. Hopefully we ate some nuts, and then we saved some nuts and invested and prospered. And now you want to be able to leave some. Some people want to. Some people say they want to eat all their nuts and let the kids and children and family members start on their own. I don't necessarily agree with that. I mean, I think that you want, especially in this world in America, you want to give your loved ones a fighting chance, because it's pretty vicious out here. If in America, if you're in poverty, man, it's a bad thing. I mean, it really is. If you think, I don't think money is everything, but I think it's pretty close, right up there next to air, okay? We got a great show lined up for you today. As a matter of fact, today is our first time that we're on YouTube. So I got a guy that's going to be putting all of my past shows on YouTube. So you'll be able to go to Robert Henderson Jr. And go to YouTube and look at a lot of our past shows. Been on the air for about 12 years. So some of this stuff goes back to, 2007. And we started off with 3 hours on the radio. And it's just a whole plethora of things, information that can really help you. I mean, from insurance to real estate to stocks to mutual funds, ETFs, to owning a business. And we talk about a lot of different things. I think it's pretty entertaining. But I'm glad, and hopefully that you will like it, because we get a lot of requests for copies of the shows. So now there's other areas where you can get access now. You can't say that you didn't know. You don't know. In the world that we live in, you have to ask, you have to seek, and you have to knock. And if you really want something, I don't care what it is, if you're seeking, you can find. The problem is a lot of people don't know what they're seeking, and some people are seeking things that is not going to do them any good. You should be seeking things that are going to help you to prosper, help your community prosper, and help your family prosper. So today, I want to segue from last week. We were talking, and we ran out of time because we only talked about an hour, and time goes by so fast. And we talked about last week a subject that has had a profound effect on me, my life, and my career. And it happened to me about 30 years ago. When I first got into this business, I worked with a firm, and it was predominantly, I was the only person of color there, and it was mainly all Jewish people. And I wasn't a certified financial planner then. I didn't have any college degrees. I started off in insurance, and this is a full-service financial planning firm, and it was down here in Miami. They were very prosperous. The minimum account size that you had to have to be one of their clients is $2 million. So I interned there, then I started working there, and then I grasped a lot of their ways and habits and study habits and I started to enjoy it, and then it became my passion, because I didn't start off saying that I wanted to be investments or a certified financial planner. I went to school, high school and college, for architecture. I wanted to be an architecture designer, and then things happened. One thing led to the other. I got the girl pregnant, and then I dropped out of school, out of college, and I married her. And then I said, okay, while I was working, then I needed to get me a side hustle. And like a lot of people now, even here it is, 2019. You get a trade, and some people go back, say they want to get higher degrees and get a master's or a PhD, which just, we're starting to find out that's just accumulating a lot more debt. Getting college degrees is not, just getting more degrees and getting more debt is not always the answer. When you need money and you need to try to, hurry up and amass it, oftentimes it's probably best that you take up a trade. And one of the trades that I took up was real estate, because I know that you can study, 3 or 6 months and get that license, and then you can go out and start selling. So that's what happened to me. I got into real estate. And from real estate, matter of fact, I was part-time. I was the top salesperson in the firm. It was back in the early 80s. Again, I wound up with an all-Jewish firm, and I was the only black again in that firm. I've always went to people who probably didn't look like me, because I figured I knew I didn't have any money, so I was going to get with the people who had money and see exactly what they were doing. I never was intimidated about, color of a skin, or I always got along with people, so, I went where the money was. And anyway, so that's how I got into real estate, and then I was part-time. I was the number one producer in the whole firm, part-time, and they were all full-time. And then from there, I wanted to learn more about how this money thing works. I learned how real estate works, how you get tax deductions for buying a duplex or having rental property, how it saves you on your other income, your W-2 income. So then from there, I found out about, mutual funds. And I wanted to know more about that, and then more about stocks, and then I joined this firm. Now, this firm that I joined, I don't want to call its name now. They moved the whole company to Orange County, California years ago. But, one of the owners, and I started talking about this last week. One of the owners said to me, he says, Robert, come here, and he says, I like you. You got good work ethics. They usually leave at 5 or 6 o'clock every day. I would hang around till like 8:30, 9 o'clock. They gave me a key to the office, and we was on the 7th floor. So I was just so happy to be working and be amongst people they were making a whole lot of money. I wasn't. I was working in the computer room, putting data together and putting it in the computer. But I looked around and I seen that they were really living the way I would like to live. They were prospering. They was traveling. So I kind of broke away from my friends, because I needed to take care of me, myself, and I needed to get a trade. I needed to get something that I could really be good at and study it. And I didn't want to be a gangbanger or do anything that deal with crime. I didn't want to sell drugs because I'd seen that story, seen that movie. And like I said, I wanted to go toward a trade, something that I could to learn. And I found out that you had to get these different licenses and you have to take these different tests. So I was working with this firm. I would call this Jewish firm. And one of the owners, it was two owners, and the guy came up to me and he says, Robert, I really like you. You work every day. He says, you got a bright future. He said, just keep going at it. You're going to be fine. And one day he said, Robert, there are 6 million Jews at the time. He says, there are 6 million Jews in the country, and there are 25 million blacks in the country. This is back in the 80s, early 80s. So he asked me that. He told me that, and I said, oh, okay. And he says, do you want to know what the difference is? And I said, well, you just told me. There's 6 million Jews in the country, and there's 25 million blacks in the country. And you asking me what's the difference? I just told you. I mean, yeah, it's more blacks than Jews. He says, no, Rob, you missed the point. He said, the point is all 6 million of us count. And I said, excuse me? He says, all 6 million of us Jews count. So I said, well, what do you mean all 6 million Jews count? I mean, you're trying to say 25 million of us blacks don't count? He says, no, I'm not trying to say that. He says that all 6 million of us, we're on our thing. We're doing our thing. I mean, a lot of you all, don't. I mean, a lot of you guys are like gang banging. A lot of you guys are like, squandering your life. A lot of you guys hanging on the corner. He says, but all 6 million of us count. I said, what do you mean? He says, well, out of the 6 million Jews, he says, in America, we control a lot of industries. We control the textile industry. I said, what do you mean? He said, the clothing, garments, distribution. Then he said, a lot of us, we have higher education. We've been discriminated against, so we didn't get mad. We get even, and we count. He says, we control the banking industry. I said, what? He says, yes. He says, yeah, a lot of us, control the banking industry, a lot of Jewish people. He says, we control the movies, the entertainment field. I said, he says, yeah, the movies, the record industry, I said, wow. So he said, yeah, and then we also control, the diamond industry, the diamonds, jewelry. So as he was saying that to me, at first I kind of got insulted because I didn't know how to take that because, who wants to hear that the group that you belong to is like not counting, and it's a lot of y'all, and you're like not doing what compared to what 6 million and there's 25 million of you all at the time. So when he said that to me, like I said, first I kind of, got insulted, but then I said, the guy liked me because it's his firm, and if he didn't like me, he's not just insulting me. It's got to be a message out of here, something for me to learn. So I walked away thinking, and that had me thinking for a long time. As a matter of fact, when I look back, that was over 30 years ago, I'm really grateful for that conversation that he had with me. And it wasn't to insult me. It wasn't to put me down. As a matter of fact, it was to light my fire. It helped me to look at my life and say, Robert, you're going to remember this conversation. And what you're going to do is be held accountable. And from then on, I realized that being successful in this whole we shall overcome and helping yourself and helping your family and your community, it all starts with me, myself, and I. It all starts as an individual, yes. And that's what I want to talk about. Because we don't understand the big picture on how the world works. We really don't. A lot of us don't. A lot of us, we're born wherever community we're born into, whether it's, rich, poor, middle class, black, white, Spanish, whatever. And we never get a good grasp of how the world works, how you're being looked at. And you got to be able to look at yourself outside yourself. And when I say about holding yourself accountable, because whatever you yourself do, how you carry yourself, it's not just for you. It has a rippling effect. Now here this Jewish guy, he was rich, successful, educated, and he was actually giving me a viewpoint, a snapshot, and I was young, of how the world will look at you if you're not a winner, if you're not creating, if you're not specializing, so to speak, in something, you know? So what did I learn from that conversation? Well, first of all, I learned that, it's a whole myth that all Jewish people, got some sort of conspiracy, that they get together and say, hey, them against us, so to speak. Nah, they really don't, because, Jews, it's individual people. But I do like the whole accountability concept and principle that they have adapted. And I think that a lot of us, I think the world would be a better place if a lot of us adapted that, being held accountable first, having representation, because we all represent someone, ourselves, our families, our groups. We really do. And I know a lot of people say, no, this is me, this is my life. No, whether you like it or not, you're being judged. And you're being judged by the uniform, your heritage, whether you're Spanish or whether you're black or whether you're Jamaican or whether you're Jewish or Chinese. I mean, we all are being judged first. And you got to know that. Now, I'm not trying to say that's the way it ought to be. I'm trying to tell you that's the way it is. There's a difference between the way things ought to be and the way things are. We know how things ought to be. I mean, life's supposed to be like heaven. I mean, we all supposed to get along and sing kumbaya. But that's just not happening. That's just not the real world. We are looked at based on our values, what we bring to the table. So what did I learn from that conversation? I learned that even though a lot of people of color like to say we starts with an I. You, me. It starts with yourself. What are you doing? First of all, you cannot blame anymore. We got to stop this blame, this victim. We have to. Now, the world knows, everyone knows that the playing field is not level. We know that there's a lot of racial discrimination. Black Lives Matter. We know that. Okay? You don't have to convince the people that that's happening, even though we try our darndest to convince Black Lives Matter or there's racism, when, trust me, they know it. It's like the elephant in the room. Everybody knows it. The emperor has no clothes on. Everybody knows it. No one wants to talk about it. And when you do want to talk about it, it's still not going to change. I'm going to tell you what changes. Actions, results, being prosperous, being all that you could be, helping your community, helping your family. That speaks volumes. So that's what I want to talk about today. But before we go into that, in terms of how you yourself can do something to help you, your family, and your community, and be held accountable, what should you do? Because too many, especially people of color, we work for the government or some governmental agency. And as long as you are trying to get a job and work for the man, it's going to be very hard for you to dictate policy. It's going to be very hard for you to make a change that really matters. Okay? We're going to take this station break. When we come back, I want to first give you the vocabulary. Every Saturday, we'll come out and we'll give a word of the day. So when we come back, I want to go over that word of the day, and then we're going to continue, because I really think this is important, because a lot of people ask me, Robert, why do you think the way you think, and who helped you and who mentored you? So I want to tell you all how that started and how it's continuing and how I've dedicated my life and what to, okay? We'll be right back. Robert Henderson Jr., certified financial planner, certified tax coach. You listen to live for the beautiful station of WZAB 880 The Biz. Don't go away. We're back live. Robert Henderson Jr., certified financial planner, certified tax coach, live in the beautiful studios of WZAB 880 The Biz. We're also streaming at www.880thebiz.com, so you can check us out there. We're also on YouTube. Only thing you have to do is go to Robert Henderson Jr. YouTube, and you can start looking at some of the shows, the past shows. We're going to be loading them up for the last 7 years from now on, so you'll be able to catch us there also. The word of the day. Every Saturday we give out a word. The word of the day is vino. Vino. And vino, I'm spelling that as V as in victory, E as in Easter, N as in Nancy, A as in apple, and L as in Larry. Vino. And vino is a word for, I would say, let me leave it using it in a sentence first. A lot of third world countries, a lot of judges, a lot of politicians, in order for the field to be leveled, they're going to have to really stop this whole vino type attitude. And vino is a word for being influenced, open for bribery, open for, special favors. And that's the problem. I don't really know how you're going to stop that, because that takes place in every industry, believe it or not, in terms of truth. So this whole vino attitude that's hidden, not really hidden, because I think that being a the whole thing about being a lobbyist, to be able to influence someone who's in power, and you pay that lobbyist because his homeboy or his connection or uncle or cousin or someone is in power, and you pay them instead of paying the person in power. Somehow the person in power is getting that money. So we turn our cheeks and look the other way and call it a lobbyist. That still is amazing to me, to be able to pay someone to get whatever you want, and however you want things to be influenced done, and get to the right person. That's amazing to me. But hey, that's it. That's America. That's the world. And that's what we're dealing with. But let's get back to the story that I talked about when I said that really changed my life and really helped me at a very young age. When this Jewish guy says, Robert, all 6 million of us count and all 25 million of y'all didn't, that had a profound effect on me. And I decided when I heard that I was going to make a change. And I can't change you and y'all, but I can change me, because the only power that each and every one of us have is the power of our own individual thoughts. You can't change another person. You can talk to them until you're blue in the face. But according to universal law, you're only allowed to change yourself. So if you're only allowed to change yourself, so change yourself and make that change and be the best you could be. So I've dedicated my life to a whole life of learning, a whole life of having dignity and pride and honor and service. My whole life I've dedicated to educating myself, continuous. I mean, you guys think that going to first to the 12th grade is education, then doing 4 years or 8 years of college. No, education in life doesn't stop. If you want to be the best that you can be, you got to dedicate yourself to a lifelong lessons of learning. Because let me tell you something. I thought I knew something when I was 20. I continued to learn. By the time I was 30, I knew that at 20, I didn't know anything. And by the time I returned 40 years old, I realized at 30, I didn't know anything. And then at 40, they says, Robert, you're very smart. You're very smart. And I thought I was smart until I kept living and I turned 50. And then at 50 years old, I looked back and said, 40, I didn't know anything. Now, at 55, I said, oh my God, my viewpoint has changed. I realize now that there really is dust on top of the refrigerator, even though I was too small, I couldn't see, I was short. And a lot of times, just because you don't see it, you don't think it's there. But at 55, when I look back at 50, I realized I didn't know anything. I'm 60 now. I'll be 61 years old. I'm so excited because I do know how the thing works. If you continue to grow and learn, you should be able to look back and say, last year, I didn't know this. I've learned more. If you are still the same old person you've been for the last 10, 20, 30 years, then you're not growing, you're not learning, and you're doing a disservice for yourself. You should continue to rethink your thoughts, to become better and better. Because like I always said, the best music hasn't been played, The best script has not been written yet. The best game hasn't been played. It's always more and more and more and more. It's better and better. So you should be striving for that. So that conversation with this guy, this Jewish guy, changed my life. So now I look back right now and I say, you know, do we have a caller here? Let's take this caller. Who is this? Alex?
Yes, sir.
How you doing, Alex?
How do you, as a high-performing individual, eliminate time wasting, and how do you control your daily routine so you can stay a high performer and be the best you could be?
Okay, so the question Alex asked me is, how do I designate my time so I won't, I guess so I won't have any dead time, so I can become efficient and I can continue to sharpen my knife. Well, Alex, I am constantly reading and studying and taking courses. I actually look to stretch myself. I just got over let me tell you exactly, when we had 4th of July gathering over to my house. The day before, I had just got delivered an 885-page book on insurance strategies, advanced strategies. The book is from the American College. I mean, it's 885 pages. Didn't have a lot of pictures. I mean, to me, that was like, oh my goodness. I was like a kid in the candy store. As a matter of fact, I was the last to come out from my room when people started to show up. I would prefer delving into that. And the reason why, because I have grown to know that in life, the way the system is set up, they put everything that's good into a picture in books that have no picture. Looks like dictionaries. And when you're young, you always want to gravitate toward doing the easy things. I've since learned that the people who are prospering are doing everything that is considered hard by the masses. The 5% versus the 95% of the masses, the 5% that are wealthy and prosperous, they do what the 95% don't do. The 95% people want to relax, have a good time, ready for the weekend. The 5% of the people, they don't want to do that. They want to become better and better and better. You know, if you look at sports, you should be inspired by sports, not just being entertained, but you should look at the workmanship, what they put in. LeBron James, Steph Curry, Kawhi Leonard. These guys are not just doing it for the money. They're making money. See, once you make money, you know, I mean, what are you going to do? You know, make another $100 million just to go buy T-shirts or have a nice dinner or a car? No. There's something inside of you that says, I want to be the best. I want to be all that I could be. And that's what drives you. You want to try to be as best that you could be. No limits. You want to try to reach the sky, go past the sky. And it's a drive. And that has gotten into me. So that's my hobby, trying to be all I could be, because we only have a short time here. Some people, you know, just want to, you know, be taken care of and watch TV or just go fishing. But that's not who I am. You know, that's not who I am. And you have to, because that doesn't bring happiness to me. You know, as a matter of fact, most people are miserable because they're not doing what they should be doing, all that they could be doing. And a lot of times we like to use excuses to play the victim and saying that someone's not paying you what you should be worth. But let me tell you something. Whatever you're getting paid, that's your worth. I want to say that again. Whatever you are being paid, someone feels whatever you're doing, that's all you're worth. That's it. So you can find out how people see you. That's how you measure it. You measure it by how much somebody is willing to pay you for what you're going to help them and what you're going to do. And it's even. It's just. It really is. I mean, if you want to sweep the floor and someone's going to give you $5, don't expect they're going to give you $1 million to sweep the floor. No. Now, if you want to do heart surgery or brain surgery, then people know they got to pay more for that. So then everything rises in perfect harmony and perfect sync. So I understand that. That's why I say if you want to have a good life, if you want to grow and you want to learn, do what's hard. Do the tough things. Now, one thing about doing the hard things and the tough things is, Alex, they don't last. Nothing hard lasts. Learning how to ride a bike, learning how to swim at first was hard. And some people still don't know how to swim because they say it's too hard. And we live in South Florida and they have swimming pools and we have beaches and they still don't know how to swim. They went away from it. But I think and I know that when you conquer your fears and go toward it, it ain't going to be hard forever. Anything you do it repetitiously, it becomes easier and easier and easier. Ask a liar. First time he lied, he felt funny. Second time he lied, he didn't feel as funny. By the 10th time he lied, he is a liar. And he just lie, and don't think nothing of it. That's how it works. First time you ride a bike, you fall off. Skin your knee, you get back on. Second time, you maybe fall, but you keep riding that bike, pretty soon you're not going to be falling. That's how everything in life is. And when I discovered life is just a series of repetitions. If you want to be good at something, just keep doing it over and over. There ain't no geniuses. It's people that do stuff over and over and over and over until it becomes muscle memory, instinct. That's how I have done in terms of this whole investment. That's why I continue to learn, to challenge, to go around the country seeking more challenges, more ways, better ways to do things. So what have I learned by having that conversation with the Jewish guy? I learned to never stop, to be the best you could be. You got that, Alex?
Gotcha.
All right, bro. Thank you. Love you. Have a great day.
Thank you too.
So when I hear when people paint a broad brush, especially when I hear as black as I am, when they say, hey, they treat black people bad. Listen, let me tell you something. Black lives matter. Imagine this. Imagine Chinese people in America. On the evening news, you hear that another Chinese done killed another Chinese. If you hear there's drive-by shooting in Chinese neighborhoods. Every time you turn around, a Chinese killing each other. Chinese cussing each other out, calling each other names. And when you see that, and when the sorry media put that and make sure that the world sees that the Chinese people are mistreating, they're going to jail, they don't value each other's lives, you know what will follow? Pretty soon, all of us will start mistreating the Chinese people too. As a matter of fact, police will start shooting the Chinese just when he see him, if he act like he's reaching in his pocket. Because when you teach people how to treat you, it has a rippling effect. Everybody piles on. So I've always said, as people of color, if we want the people to stop treating us, we have got to first ourselves say that we are valuable to ourselves. We have to act like we're valuable. We have to be held accountable. We have to love ourselves. And then the rest will follow. That's just the way life is. If P.P. Willie P.P'd in his clothes in the second grade, and everybody call him P.P. Willie, strangers are going to start calling him P.P. Willie. Everybody people that don't even know him going to call him P.P. Willie, because that's what everybody do. So when you have people that are killing each other or disrespecting each other, then the whole world start killing them and disrespecting them. And then you wonder why. So I learned that from having this conversation with this guy. We have all got to start. We have all got to be better in our own way for ourselves. That's the way it works. That's the way you become a team. Think about this. Right now in the NBA, 2019, there's this thing called free agency. When a player becomes so good and he has a contract, at the end of his contract, he can choose any team that he wants to go on. Why? Because he deserves that. Because he has been outstanding. He's the top, cream of the crop. So when you have a player like Kawhi Leonard, or you have a player like Kevin Durant, when you have an all-star player, when it's time to get paid, they can name what team they want to go and play with. As a matter of fact, buddies can get together. Each of them say, we want to play together. Even the owners of the teams can't do anything about it. Because if they want to win, because everybody want to win, they got to pay them. And when they pay them, they get together and they say, okay, LeBron's, I want you to go and get this guy Anthony Davis. Have him leave and come over to the Lakers. You know? So that they can do that. My whole point, you can learn a lot from sports. Now, how did that happen? It's because LeBron himself, before this happened, he dedicated himself to being the best. The guy Anthony Davis, he wasn't around when LeBron was working on himself. He was doing his thing. So becoming good is an individual thing. The problem is, you, radio listeners, a lot of you all, you're not specializing. In order to really prosper, you have to specialize in something. All of us don't got to be lawyers and doctors and certified financial planners. We still need good engineers. We still need good electricians. I still need a good plumber. Yes, there's a need for plumbers. So many people got real estate licenses. Almost every beautician, barber, everybody, school teacher got a side hustle as a real estate. Why don't y'all get side hustles and be plumbers? Why don't you get side hustles and be electricians? We need them bad. We definitely need side hustle. Everybody needs to know how to fix the air conditioning down here in South Florida. Air conditioning repair and refrigeration. What about those? We need to start specializing. What do? You tell us your daughter or your son to go to college and get a job and go work for somebody else, prosperous enterprise? No. You can't keep doing that. 80% of people of color work for the government. How much influence can you do if you're working in a warehouse? How we gonna team up? How you gonna team up with me so we can go and build some apartments and do some things? How can I use you? I mean, how can we network together? I mean, do you know how to put together air conditioners? Do you know how to build things? Are you in construction? Are you an electrician? I mean, you know, do you own a car dealership? How can we network? The problem is, each and every one of us have got to have some individual skills. And you have to specialize. Specialize. And when we specialize together, collectively, we can help each other in our community and our families, and we can grow. And then we can come together as a team. See, when you look at what I learned from the conversation I had with the Jewish guy is that they don't all get together to say, hey, you know, you go be this, you go be that, you go be a dentist, you go be a doctor. They didn't get together and say, hey, listen, I need you to go and be and run the textile industry. I need you to go and run the motion pictures. I need you to go. No. They feel these are industries that people use and going to be in need of. And they migrated in those industries and became really good at them. That's not a secret. That's a good plan. That's how you help your family and your community. But if most of the people of color, either a police officer, how much entrepreneurial can you do by being a police officer and stopping crime? I mean, what kind of enterprises? What can you really do? Firefighter. I'm not saying these are not good jobs. These are service jobs. But how entrepreneur oriented is that? Think about it. You work in the warehouse. How good are you? How you going to network with someone and you're in the warehouse? I mean, think about it. What about manufacturing? Making something, distributing, distribution. Those are the things that the generations to come need to look at. Those are the fields that you have to go into to plant seeds for the generations to come. Phone line wide open, 305-541-2350. 305-541-2350. Let's see if anybody listening to me other than Alex. Do I make any sense? I've learned a lot from that conversation I had with this Jewish owner of this financial services business. I learned a whole lot. You know, we shall overcome. No, we not going to overcome. Because when y'all call me, I'm going to be the richest one. No. Call me if you rich. Call me if you have some money. And then the other one call me. I want to network with people who have something so we can put together and we can become a we. Don't invite me to the gathering and I have the most money. No, no. I want you to amass some money. Then you call me. And then we get together and we do some enterprising, changing, game-changing things. That's how wealthy people do. They get together once they have specialized in whatever field they are, whether they're a dentist, they're a doctor, or you know, a warehouse, a real estate baron, and they get together and they pool their money together. Nobody wants to pool their money with someone who don't have no money. What is that? That doesn't make a lot of sense. So your first assignment is to be all you could be. How do you do that? First of all, you got to have a come to truth. Jesus come to a truth meeting with yourself. You got to look at your weaknesses and your strengths. And then your weaknesses, you got to gravitate toward that. You got to learn. You got to understand how money works. One of the things that my daughter talked about, Hyacinth, yet last night, from now on, every Friday at 9 p.m., I want you to tune in. Hyacinth is doing a live 880 podcast. Her program is called Cream, and she deals a lot with real estate and wealth building. That's my daughter who's working in Henderson Financial Group. She's the managing director of the firm. She's been with me for 17 years, and she's really, really, really good. And she just started last night, so every Friday night is live at 9 p.m. I want you all to tune in. I want you to tune in to listen to her. So, she's young. I mean, I'm 61. She's 38. So she got a different spin on it. But she's listened to me. She's licensed in securities and investment advisor. Okay? And then she's going to help you all also show you how she's watched me and what she's learned from me and what she has learned so she can communicate to a lot of the young people. So tune in. Get your kids to tune in. You all tune in. And that's every Friday night here live at 9 p.m. So as we were talking, and I keep going back to what have I learned from that conversation that I had at the Jewish organization. You know, one of the things that I've noticed over the past, that not just here in South Florida, but it's all over the United States. You know, a lot of us think that we can buy our way into heaven. A lot of times when you've given up and you feel like you've been working in a warehouse and you can't think about a whole lot of things, what you want to do is give your life to God. But let me tell you something, what I learned from talking with this Jewish guy. He said that what you do with your life is a gift to God. God has given you everything that you need between your two ears. God's gift to you is life, and our gift to God is what we do with our life. Some people have given up. They have run out of answers. So now they're just waiting to die. That's all they do is read the Bible and waiting to go to heaven. What if this is heaven? Let me tell you something. If that's all you got, you've run out of answers. You've missed the boat. Life is for the living. While you here on this earth, you should be thinking. You should be growing. You should be learning. You shouldn't be like on a bus bench waiting time out just so you could die and go to heaven. You shouldn't be doing that. I mean, why do you think that you came to earth? Life is for learning and growing and prospering. What are you waiting to die? Come on, think about it. Ain't nobody trying to hurry up and die. You see a whole lot of people lining up to die. But you see a whole lot of people trying to get well, going to the hospital. Think about it. That's the most silliest thing in the world. So I started talking. So the Jewish guy says, Robert, I remember him saying, Robert, you know, a lot of you all people of color, you all go to church and you spend most of your money in church. And the church build a bigger church. I've never seen a church organization that didn't have a building fund. If they got a $1 million church, the goal is to get a $5 million church. Once they get a $5 million church, the goal is to get a $10 million church. If they got a $10 million church, the goal is to get a $15 million church. You spend your whole life trying to get a bigger church. And the people that go to church ain't rich. It's only certain people that's rich. Now, what sense does that make? And what makes it so bad is the bigger the church, it's not like crime in the neighborhood is decreasing. No. If you go some parts in South Florida, Liberty City or other areas, they have a church on every corner. It's crime on every corner. How could that possibly be? If that was working, that means wherever they have a church, there will be no crime. Think about that. If you have a area where it's blighted, an area where there is a lot of crime, just put a church there. And all of a sudden, there's no crime. No, that's not the way it works. As a matter of fact, areas that have no churches, beautiful palm trees, they have no churches around there. It's prosperous. So I don't know who fooled y'all on building and putting all this money and then paying off the church. When I was trying to find good commercial real estate around South Florida to build a building, every time I was looking at a site, a church took over the site to build a building. A church. How economical can that be? We should be building economics, prosperous centers to employ people, give them jobs. That's what we should be doing. If I see another church that want to build another mega church in the black community, I'm done. I am totally done. Why don't y'all take that money and build a grocery store? Why don't you take that money and build some units, some mixed use? Give them people that's in the church, give them jobs. When you give them jobs, and then you start buying more pieces of property in that area and create a better community, why don't y'all get together and do that? What y'all keep building more churches for, talking about dying for? You know, life is for the living. Death gonna take care of itself. Stop prospering on these people. Making me think about something else here, man. I wasn't gonna go this way on the church, but it's enough is enough. If I can't say it at 61, I'm gonna say it. Somebody gotta tell the truth. You gotta tell these people how and what they should be doing. We shall overcome. We're not gonna overcome until individually we overcome. Phone lines wide open, 305-825-1444. This is Robert Henderson Jr., certified tax coach, certified financial planner. Time is going by so fast. I see Don Daly and Rosie in the studio. You know, if I have stepped on some toes, if I have offended you all, then good. Good. You should be offended. Stop sugarcoating it. Stop lying to you. Somebody needs to tell you the truth. Get up. Get yourself a second hustle. If you working 9 to 5, how in the world you can work 9 to 5 and it's about your life and you go home and sit down and watch Netflix and TV, knowing you need some more money? You're supposed to have another career. You're supposed to take up a trade. Stop going back to school talking about you getting these PhDs and going more into debt just so you can work for somebody. No, if you're going to get a PhD, you better be working on an invention for yourself so you can help the world and help the community. Don't get no PhD or a master's degree so you can go work for the man. What is that doing for us? What is that doing for your community? What is that doing? The only thing it's doing, as a matter of fact, is putting you in greater debt. And it makes no sense. It's about time y'all stop this foolishness. That's my story. Same time, same station. Robert Henderson Jr., certified financial planner, certified tax coach. I'm out of here. Have a fantastic weekend.